Hey there everybody, James here, and we are back with another video. Today, we're gonna do a little bit more of a tutorial on changing the bracelet out on your watch. And particularly today, we're gonna be doing this on the Sky Dweller. Now, before I get started, I do have to acknowledge some people consider this a mortal sin. There are Rolex collectors that say you should never wear anything Rolex on anything but factory or any other brand, just use it with the OEM strap. And I do think that changing the bracelet, changing a strap on a watch is probably one of the most fun things that you can do. Obviously, everyone's going to have their preference. Some people might like it better on factory. And obviously, Rolex bracelets are one of the reasons why a lot of people buy Rolex, is because it is just one of the most solid things you'll ever feel. If you've never had a Rolex on wrist on bracelet, it's amazing. But there are a lot of other great options for lots of watches, and in particular with Rolex, there's a brand out there called Rubber Bee that is fantastic, and I have loved their straps for a long time because of the integration that they have with Rolex. So let's just take a look at it really quickly on my wrist. If you would, please like, comment, subscribe to the video. Now again, here's the Sky Dweller on my wrist. I always get comments about the fact that this watch is a little big on me, and that's okay because I love this piece. It was my first Rolex, my first real luxury watch, and I love the functionality, I love the look, I love everything about it, and the Oyster bracelet does look awesome on this watch. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to walk you through actually changing it out. So you're going to need a couple of things. You're going to need first some sort of spring bar tool. You can buy these online. Basically, they're just little pronged edges on this tool. You can also use something like this that'll squeeze together, because that will make some changing of bracelets and straps easier. Particularly with Rolex, I do think that this is a nice tool to have, just because you can loosen or tighten the spring bar tool to be exactly the width that you need, and then it's going to help you take it off. Now, if you're changing your bracelet, this is a really soft wood here, so this is fine. I would not suggest doing that on a hard surface. I'd suggest putting it like a mat or something else underneath. This is pretty soft wood, so I feel comfortable doing it on this basically. So a couple of steps. The first thing you're going to want to do is take your bracelet off the watch. You can see this one is well loved, because I've had this one for several years and have changed the strap and bracelet out multiple times. But here we go. Okay, so first we're going to start by just taking the bracelet off the watch. And sometimes they're a little tricky to get out, but really you just have to get the spring bars loose. And then you just put the spring bar off to the side. Make sure you don't lose it. I promise you, if you're around watches a little bit, you will at some point have a spring bar just fly out on you while you're changing out a bracelet or a strap, and you'll look through your carpet or look through wherever you're looking, and it's going to be a pain in the butt to find. So keep your spring bars handy. And now we've got just the head of the watch. So we'll put that off to the side. Now the next thing is we have to loosen the screw that holds the clasp. Now again, some watches, or some bracelets I should say, or like straps, will come with a pin buckle or their own clasp or whatever. I always really like using the Rolex clasp on here, just because the beacon hook locking system that this uses, or the clamshell if you have like a Daytona or other Rolex models, is one of my favorite aspects of Rolex, and so I don't want to not use the clasp that they provide. One thing that you do want to note is if you have had your watch in service, or if it's relatively new, you're going to probably struggle to get this screw unscrewed, and the reason is because they put Loctite on it, so that you can't change the bracelet out. I was talking with AD and they kind of told me that, so I had to have them heat it up a little bit for me so that I could get the bracelet out. At first I thought I was crazy, but I was not. They just genuinely put Loctite on the screw so that you can't change it out. Okay, so we've got just about everything out. The screwdriver, by the way, is a 1.5 millimeter bit. That's what I use for that size screw. It is pretty small. So if you have like a watchmaker's screwdriver or something like that set, you should be okay. All right, and then the last thing is we've got to take the bracelet off of the clasp. If you have your Easy Link system engaged, you'll have to disengage that so you can actually see the spring bar here where we're going to take it out. So again, this, I'm just going to use my single spring bar tool because you really just have to get one side out loose and then you can get the spring bar loose. I just nailed my camera. Okay, so now we're going to put our rubber B strap on the watch. Now, rubber B, again, is fantastic. This is the blue. That is one of the options that comes with the Sky Dweller. It's vulcanized rubber. It's pretty heavy duty stuff. It's not going to really rip or tear. It is high quality. And the other nice thing about it is it's cut to length. So you get, you know, the factory one will be quite a bit longer. I have a real small wrist, so I have to cut mine pretty small. And what you ideally want to do is utilize the divots in the clasp to test your sizing before you just decide to cut it to length. So what I would do is cut it to the length that you think that you might need and then go one longer and put it in the shortest divot in your clasp and just see how that feels, because you want to err on the side of longer, because obviously if you cut it too short, then you're going to be in trouble and you're going to need a new strap. And you don't want to do that because these are a couple $100 typically for rubber B. So, all right, okay, so once you got those on, next I would suggest putting the clasp back on here where it extends. I would leave the screw last, just from an ease of putting this all back together perspective. So we're going to pop our spring bar into the clasp here. And once again, make sure that it's actually in all the way. Give it a nice little tug. And then lastly, we're going to get our screwdriver back. And grab our screw. Because this part is pretty straightforward. So we're going to screw this in. I kind of know where this one usually sits on my wrist, just because I have done it many times. So once it's screwed in, then you've got a lovely Rolex on rubber B. So then you pop it on wrist, and that's the look. So again, I love this on the Sky Dweller. I've worn this on the Yachtmaster 2. There are many others that Rubber B makes some nice colors and designs for. So that is changing your bracelet on Rolex. And I do have, I've got a lizard skin strap that I've worn this on that looks really great. I am not a purist when it comes to Rolex, that you should only wear it on factory bracelet. I do think there's room for self-expression here, wearing it on some different stuff. So anyways, thanks for stopping by the video. Please like, comment, or subscribe. And again, my goal for you is that you get out of watches whatever you want to get out of watches, because I want you to know and love the collection you have so that you can be a satisfied collector. So thanks for joining me, and I will talk to you next time. Bye-bye.